Hey guys, what's up? How ya doing? I'm here to talk to you guys about the new chapter of My Hero Academia, which is on chapter 407. This chapter right here was very disturbing, and I can see why a lot of people say Horikoshi should do a horror manga next, because when he does these crazy stuff when it comes to terrifying images, he really is good at it. So, yeah, okay, enough of me rambling on, let's talk about this chapter. We get to know a little backstory. No, this entire chapter is about the backstory of All For One, or should I say, part of it. I don't know how long it's going to last, but I'm pretty sure it will last either another chapter or two. We don't know. But we get to know about All For One and One For All's mother. And I mean Yoichi and All For One's mother. She was actually one of those people, that works in that little adult industry kind of thing, but not entirely great and all, because she does get a little hard warts, as you want to call it, or dangers or something, and that she was homeless. What she didn't know is that she didn't realize she was pregnant here and there with two twins, or two babies, which apparently is obviously All For One and Yoichi. And we get to see that the babies only had each other, and that when the rats came to feast on the kids and the babies and the mother, they get washed away by a swollen river whatsoever. However, 1 year will go by, and that's when the first baby with the quirk came about, and that's when meta abilities become well known, that kind of thing. And then that's when the narration about how quirks came to be and would descend into early chaos whatsoever. It was a lawless environment by that time. Eventually, when it comes to All For One, when he looks at a group of people talking about some kind of some riots, what's happening here and there, All For One later on will kill them. And I mean, he will literally kill them, no problem. He literally pierced them with those horns that he actually had or he stole from his mother, etc. And we get to know a little bit more narration of how that's the meta ability he stole from his mother, the freaking warts or the freaking horns whatsoever. We get to know how he was born an arrogant baby. He believed the world should belong to him. No matter how hard they cried or screamed, those who couldn't give him anything were nothing more than a nuisance. And the funny ironic thing is that All For One, even though it should be his here and there, he somehow managed to still save his baby brother, even though he didn't have to. Maybe because of this right here. But what's crazy and very ugly right now, despite All For One as a baby kid killing these people for no reason, or they're not giving him anything, we get to see Yoichi, and I mean All For One's little brother, trying to stop him. He said, "Stop, please, this is wrong, But, the sad thing is about Yoichi is that he wasn't really well fed. Most of the nutrients from their mother that they feasted on, that they took from their mother, went straight to the older one, which is All For One. And, of course, that's when Yoichi became the younger brother that grew up very small and very weak whatsoever, Although All For One did not like him, or he had nothing to offer him, he was one of the possessions. So pretty much he just saw Yoichi as something he doesn't want to let go, I guess. Because that's all he ever had, So that's why he's keeping it by his side. But we also get to know how these two became homeless while Yoichi had no power at all, which we do know that he does have a power, but it was kind of somewhat useless, however you want to call it. But as for All For One, those two were living into a certain building that they could call home. Eventually, this is when Yoichi decides to read some comic books and showed his older brother about it, and that how he wanted to be a hero like him one day. And then that's when All For One becomes interested in the comic books he's reading, despite him starting to learn from a late age whatsoever, But Yoichi, that was when he wanted to be a hero, That's when All For One wanted to be a villain, when he read the comics himself. And then, 3 years will later on pass, and we get to see an older Yoichi and older All For One, and so forth. All For One explained to Yoichi how a baby guy had 10 million sympathizers that had a quirk like that, But you know what? There was also 2 weeks prior to that, to his birth, India had like 50 babies born with meta abilities. You know what's going on right now is that I don't like it. He doesn't have the right to mobilize that many people to like help him out, so that's why I killed him. I stole his abilities or power. And Yoichi's like, and Flat is like bewildered and horrified by his older brother's actions and saying, wait a minute, why do you do this? Why did you do such a thing? And All For One's like, well, simple. I did what the comics showed me. You know the concept of one for all and all for one? It's so dang beautiful. Sorry about that. That was my alarm. All For One explains how the heroes fight alone while keeping their secret identity, while the villain reigns supreme through fear. You know what, Yoichi? You gave me that dream of mine. I really realized I want everyone who exists only for my sake, just like you do. And thank you for that dream. So, looks like to me, because Yoichi gave him a certain dream to go for, maybe that's the reason why he valued him. Or it's just because he cares for him, because he's the only family he has left, considering, like, whoever's the dad, he must have been a total douche, but he created a freaking monster, that's for sure, if you know what I'm talking about. But the last part of the chapter shows this, of how All For One goes like, sees Yoichi running and goes like, hey, why are you running away? I gave you your power, I love you, you know? Hey, who are you? He looks at Kudo, or the second user of One For All eventually, and goes like, hey, get away from him. Look at me. He's mine. He's mine. He's mine. Precious, you know? He says, if you stop being mine, then, and then the chapter ends off with Yoichi's hand being cut off, or cut off, knowing that his body was destroyed. I don't know. So, pretty much, at this point, despite All For One knowing that Yoichi is pathetic and useless even as a baby kid who has no powers at all, but he did have a power sadly, we get to see to it that All For One kept him around because he's his only family, or he sees him as a possession that he needs something, you know? And he even thanks Yoichi in a certain way, saying, you gave me a dream that I could finally live on and want to create. So I give you props, little brother. You're mine. You belong to me. And you know that chapter, that ending chapter right there, was that yandere love of a sibling brother going, hey, where are you going? Where are you freaking going? Where are you going? Hey, you, why are you taking my brother? How dare you? If you are not going to be mine, I'm going to, I don't know. One thing's for certain, I'm pretty sure All For One must be blaming the second user of One For All, or something like that, because All For One may not take responsibility if he killed his younger brother. And I'm pretty sure if he did kill his younger brother, I'm pretty sure it would have a mental, devastating, ugly strain on his mind and heart, considering that he had one thing he truly cared and loved, and that was Yoichi. That's the only thing. I guess it's a brother complex, you want to call it, I guess, how you want to say. But, well, it is what it is. Now, like, by that time, wow. So, pretty much, Hero Academia will be on break, which is fine, obviously, because these manga artists, who does weekly shonen manga, you know how tough it is for them to even, like, draw out those manga, but, you know. Anyways, looking forward to, like, next chapter, which will be after Thanksgiving week, I guess that's just how it is. So yeah, until then, people, I'll see you guys in the next video. So I'm Alpha Zero. Have a good day, and I'll see you guys next time. Alright, peace out, bye bye. Toot toot.